I'm very involved in the community in my church. I'm married a smoking hot redhead. I have a 15-year-old daughter, so I don't sleep anymore, and I'm broke. No, I'm kidding. I enjoy cooking. I try to stay in shape when I can. I'd love to do something a little bit more than the pear shape that I am. I enjoy bicycling. My family, my wife and daughter, keep me pretty active, and I just try to enjoy life when I can. When I get that call from a homeowner or a home buyer, and they're looking they need services, it's not simply the opportunity for their business. And I think a lot of people, will thank them for that, as well they should. But for me, it's the fact that this is a crossroads in people's lives. And it's a big deal, whatever it is, whether it's a job change or a new child or a marriage or what have you. They're inviting me into their lives at that crossroad, at that moment. And that's a real honor. That's not just an opportunity. That's an honor. And that's a level of intimacy that I think a lot of people miss. And it's something I know my clients appreciate and respect. And I still thank them for it. Thank them for the honor of letting me come into their lives at that moment. It's not whether, when I have a senior citizen come to me and he's looking to sell his final house, he's going to assisted care. A lot of agents look at that and they say, "Oh, it's an easy sale." But for me, I'm looking at this guy. This is it. This is one of the last chapters in his life. He's, then there's not many left either, and he's going to be losing a lot of his independence. He's no longer going to be the homeowner that he has been for the last 40 or 50 years. And that's a big deal to him. And whether it's $1 million piece of property or an old single wide out in the middle of nowhere, it doesn't lessen how important that is to the client. And I always want to try to keep that in mind. Regardless of that crossroads is really what I focus on. I have a particular story that comes to mind. I have a client, an elderly woman, and her home was immaculate. And nothing fancy. It was a little rambler in Marysville. But you could have eaten off any surface in this home. And she was a widow. Her husband had passed some years earlier. Her family had told her at the time, when her husband had passed, that she should sell her home, find something closer to them. But just out of principle, she kept this home for like 35 years, just to prove to herself that she could do it on her own. And she did. And she's a little bitty thing. She's 5 foot nothing and 100-pound dripping wet. But she finally got to that point. She proved it to herself and then was ready to sell her home 35 years later when I got that call. So I'm John Miller with John L. Scott.